Welcome to the Crazy Troll Nation. My name is Dion. This is just regular chapstick that was in my bag. You can see where I'm at and that I'm not home. I am at Academy. It's been a long friggin' day, y'all, because I only had, I think, like 90 minutes of sleep. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to rank my Natasha Denona palettes. And I don't rank often. I usually just do tiers because it creates for me so much anxiety. So we have three. Is there three? We have three of the $129 ones, which I got them all on sale, so I didn't pay $129. And we have six of the middies, but some of the middies are paired with other palettes. Like I swapped shadows out of Retro Glam to put in Xenon, and some are also in another palette. And we have four of the quints. We're going to rank the quints separately. So what we have here, should I do the intro? Okay. Welcome again. My name is Dean. I call this the Crazy Troll Nation of YouTube. The crazy, just knowing it's okay to be your authentic self. And the troll part is not caring too much about the beauty community standards. You set the standard for yourself. Watching beauty related content, we hear you must use this brand, use this tool, use this technique. And I'm here to tell you, you don't have to. Use whatever you want to, however you want to get your makeup on in a way that you are satisfied with it. The bottom line here at the Crazy Troll Nation is self-acceptance and self-love, embracing our natural features, enhancing them if you want to, when you want to, but never feeling like you have to. Love yourself for who you are and for how you look, even when you're not wearing face paint. That's what the Crazy Troll Nation stands for. Two things I need to let you know. Excuse me, I just sat down. I do curse because I curse, period. And the other thing is there's the organism that lives in my throat that randomly hiccups, gurgles, and belches. And I do always say excuse me whether I think you heard it or not. So I don't have any idea where this is going to go, and this could change any day. So we have Circle Loco. I should probably write this down because I'm going to forget like what number is what. This is what's next to where I am. So Circle Loco, we have and I'll show you what it looks like, and then we're going to go through and rank them. I love this palette. I have done 22 looks with this palette. This is the second time I've had it. One of her bundle deals for the year-end sales, it was almost buy one get one free, and she had this bundle with Biba, so I repurchased both of those, and I love them freaking palettes. Excuse me. And speaking of Biba, this is Biba and Lila. These four shades right here are from Lila, and so when I do the ranking, is ranking it as it is with whatever we put in it. So this is what Biba looks like. So let me write down Biba because I'm going to put the number down that I say is ranked as, because I'll forget and be like, what did I say? This palette, I called it my Trio Chrome Quint palette because the two Trio Chromes that I tried in here, which were in the center column, they irritated my eyes, and some of the shades, none of them made me look ashy, which was fabulous, but they were lighter shades that I knew I wouldn't use often. And so these four are from Trio Chrome. I have one here, like what's where. These four, I'm holding it upside down. These four are from Trio Chrome. These four right here are from the Ayana Quint. These four down here are from the Alloy Quint. These three here are from the Fez Quint. So that's why I call it my Trio Chrome Quint palette, because it's the Trio Chrome palette, but aside from these four, all the other shades are from different quints. And so when we rank it, we're going to rank it as it is. And when I've used it, I've made sure to hop around, because if I'm just going to use these four, I could have kept them as they were in the palette. If I'm just going to use these four, I could have just left it in the quint that it was in. And they were the $48 quints, not the $25 quints. If I'm just going to use these four, I could have just left that in that quint. You see what I'm saying? And so I make a point to hop around. And if I was only going to use these three for a look, I could have kept that in the quint instead of putting them in here. So I put the shades in here that I would most likely use. And it is exciting to look at this and to mix it up and not just go by rows. You know what I mean? And so that's Trio Chrome Quint palette. Let me know if you will mix your palettes or swap out shades within her palettes. This I'm still surprised I got this, but not more surprised than when I got golden. So I'm writing this down now. This is the warm palette. I do like this palette. Everything in here is original to the palette. I did not swap out or change anything, and I like it. It's easy to use. It's hard to mess up a look. It's going to look nice, and I like that there are quite a few browns in here because it does add, I want to say it adds variety, but in a way it doesn't because they're browns. You know, we have this brown, this brown, this brown. We have a lighter tan and then these tans. But it does offer some variety because if I wanted a deeper shade, I can use this one over here or this one. If I want a lighter brown or tan. So it does allow me to do different things, but it's essentially going to be in the same vein as all the other looks with this palette. And for me, some of the metallics, this one and this one show up almost the same on my lid. And these two show up almost the same on my lid. So it's like, but I do like it. Easy to use and very pretty. And we have the I Need a Nude palette, which I purchased for my kit, but I'm thinking like, do I want to keep it for me? And I know it's weird because if you know me, you know I like messy grunge. I like, you know, smoky looks. This phone, I keep trying to get it to level out, so excuse me for moving you. And these are all original to this palette. And I do actually like this palette. And the same as with Warm, they're basic, but they're nice. And easy to do because it's hard to mess up. And I do like that there's a dark brown in here. Sometimes when I do looks, it could either be from, like a look will look like something I could have done with Golden or with Warm or with Nude. And what's the other one? Those three. So they are definitely distinct palettes, but the looks, especially when you get to these sparkling shades, this one, and shades like this, it'll look similar to something else. Because for me, I find that the High Shine Shimmer formula that she uses, it all just kind of blends into the same shade. And so, you know, if I took a brown from Warm and put a shiny shade on my lid, it's going to look similar. And the same if I used, you know, one of these tans for my transition area, you know what I mean? So, but I do like it, and it is very easy to use, and I am actually excited to like use it again. But I feel weird because it's not my vibe, and maybe because it's still new to me, and I'm just seeing how much I can do. Like, I don't know. The Golden palette, I'm writing that down. You would think I would have wrote these down ahead of time. So let me go ahead and do that. Let me write these other ones down as well. Because I'm going to put the number next to them when I rank them, because I'll be like, what did I say? And I do sometimes like easily confuse myself. So we're going to try not to do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. No palette shall be left behind. This is Golden, very reflective. This one is my Golden Star palette because this shade, this shade, this shade, and this one, the ones that don't fit, how you see space next to them, those are from the Star Quint, the $25 Quint. They don't fit in here, but I put them in here, and I don't mind there being space. Putting those shades in here, it does give me more variety with this palette, because the shades I took out did not really show up on me, so it was like, why are you here? And I really like the Star palette because it was grungy, and so I put those in here, and I really dig it. I really do. So this ranking is going to be really interesting because we have Warm, we have Nude, we have Golden, and those aren't my vibe. So it's like, troll, how are you going to rank these? Like, what they're going to be on the bottom, right? We will see. Again, whatever I say today may change tomorrow. This is my Xenon palette, and I have I have 4 shades from Retro Glam in here. Let me see, where are we? This is from Retro Glam. This one is from Retro Glam. And this one is from Retro Glam. And this is Retro Glam. So we have Retro Glam, Retro Glam, Retro Glam, Retro Glam. And it did give me a lot of variety with this because you know that this was a grayscale palette, and I thought these 3 were black shades, and they're identified. I'm looking on my papers. I do have a printout on what they're identified as. So let's see. Night Sky, this shade right here, is described as metallic black. That looks blue to me. Let me know what color that looks like to you. To me, that looks blue. And this one is, what is that? Sposh. And Sposh is described as a cream matte powder charcoal. So even though they're saying it's a charcoal, to me it still has like a blue undertone to it. And this one over here, which is Ebb, that's a metallic dark gray blue. So this one, they are saying it is blue. They're saying this is charcoal. They're saying this is black. They look blue to me. Excuse me for the glare. Do those three look blue to you? Or am I seeing things? And I do perceive color different than a lot of other people. I'll think it's one shade, and like 10 people be like, no, that's not that shade you're saying it is. But let me know if this, what it does say it has blue. So let me know if this one and this one look blue to you. This is described as a black. This is described as a charcoal. And it can be and still just have a blue base. You know what I'm saying? But I don't see charcoal or black. I just see blue. But yeah. Let me know what you see. And we have the Yucca palette, or the Yucca palette. There's only one shade in here that we swapped out. This is Marlin from Retro Glam, because I thought that would go nice with this one. And the shade that was here did not really show up on me. I love this palette. When I first seen it, I knew I was buying it full price, whatever. But then there happened to be a code, so I was like, okay. Because my perpetual low buy is not buying anything unless I have a coupon code or a discount, or it's on sale, or I use rewards points, or a gift card, something like that. And so perpetual low buy is not buying anything full price, but I was going to pay full price for this. So thankfully someone was like, oh, here's a code. I was like, thank you. And so that's how I got this one. I was going to get it. When I first saw it, I knew I was getting it anyway. This one is my Glam Retro Glam palette. I want to say this pink, and this blue are from Retro Glam. So these two and this one. And like with the other palettes, it did give it more variety, more diversity for me. And these shades I put in here show up better on me than the original shades in this palette. And so this is my Glam Retro Glam palette. This is going to be hard ranking because I mixed them to where I would really dig them, and I do. So here's the anxiety ridden part. It's like, let me count them again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 9 palettes. So I'm writing that down, 9 palettes. What's going to be number 9? Excuse me if you heard that. My first thought was I Need a Nude would be number 9. That was my first thought when I said 9 palettes. How are we going to do this? The first thing that came to my mind was I Need a Nude. This is not my vibe at all. And I wonder though, is this going to stick with me? I purchased it for my kit, but she will probably be having a sale on her website soon, because usually around end of November, you know, she has really good sales. And so I am really seriously wondering if I want to keep this, because it's so easy to use and I love the formulas. The looks are basic, but they're so pretty. But this is number 9. And this is my most recent one too. Yeah, so I Need a Nude is number 9. And I will say I do like all of these palettes. I do not keep stuff that I don't like. If you've been here, you know that. So because I am excited to see what else I can do with this and to use it again, that tells me I'm still excited about it. And I want to be excited about everything I have. I want you to be excited about everything you have, because we spend our money for stuff, or people give it to us for gifts or whatever. Let's use our stuff and enjoy it. And so I also like a curated collection where there are no duplicates in my collection. And when I laid out I Need a Nude and Golden and Warm, all of them are distinctly different. The same vibe, but they are all distinctly different. You can look at them and tell they're not duplicated shades within those palettes. And that's one thing I appreciate about the brand, is that each palette does have its own identity. There may be similar shades within a palette, but across palettes it's not. And my thought is that any one brand, if you buy enough from any one brand, well, it depends, because some brands, they do dupe themselves, like they do. But any, I don't want to say good brand, any brand worth its salt, if you just stick with that one brand, you will have a palette for any mood, any occasion, any vibe, or whatever. And I kind of feel like that with these palettes I showed you. Like, all of them are different, but they're all, I really enjoy them. You know what I mean? And so, but I Need a Nude is number 9. So let me put number 9 next to Nude. Number 8. This is getting tough already. Oh, damn. And this is why I don't, this is why I don't rank. It's going to surprise you. It surprises me. And I'm going to put Trio-Chrome Quint palette as number 8 only because I had to put it together. These are the only 4 that's original to this palette, these 4 right here. And so only because if I didn't take them out and put them in here, each one would have been like a separate $48 Quint. You know what I mean? And so this is only number 8, even though this is my vibe. I have my grunge in here. I have, you know, I can do smoky looks in here. I can do bold looks in here. I can do basic, you know, just what people call everyday safe type looks. I can do purple looks if I wanted to just be monochromatic. And these shades do show up and look nice. And so it's only number 8 because I had to make it this way. You know what I'm saying? And what's the sense in swapping out shadows if I'm not going to love it? And I do love this palette. I really do. But it's number 8 because I put it this way versus buying it that way. And I hope that that makes sense. But that's what came to my mind. And so how I'm ranking these is, when I get to a number, like number 7, whatever palette I think of, that's what it's going to be. So I'm not going to be like, you know. So what I'm thinking of now is the golden palette. Even though with the star shades in here, and we are ranking it for what it is after I did whatever I did, but we're going to put this for number 7 only because we did have to swap out shades. I loved it as its own Quint. And I love it in here because it gives me more stuff to do. Because if I'm only just working with 5 shades, that's just 5 shades. Take 4 of them, put in here, and I have 11 other shades. You know what I'm saying? And so this is only number 8 because I had to switch stuff out for everything to show up on me. And not so much to get, somewhat to get the vibe I want, but even without that, all the looks were very pretty. I did a ton of looks. Every palette I'm showing you, I have a playlist for if you would like to see the looks that I did with it, but because some of the shades didn't show up on me, and so that's why I swapped some of them out. And so that's the only reason that this is number 7, and I do really like that palette. So golden is number 7. Let me know if this is surprising you. The next thing I'm thinking of is I need a warm. So I'm just going off of whatever next pops into my head, really. I'm not like really trying to analyze or whatever. So like whatever just pops into my head as we're moving along for that next number, that's what I'm doing. And so I thought of I need a warm, and I do really like this palette to the point where I did not swap out anything. So this is going to be number 6, and what am I? I write so funny. I'm like, what did I write? I do really like this palette. There's nothing wrong with it. It's very nice. It's just basic. Very easy, very pretty. I can pick this up and not think too much and do a look, and it's going to be pretty. It's going to be basic, but it's going to be pretty. And I don't have to think too much about what to do. If I have like a Notoriously Morbid palette, I have to think about what I'm going to do. If even my Lethal palettes, I have to think of what I'm going to do. With this, I don't have to think because you just have browns, tones, tans, and shiny shades. And so I have done different looks with it. A lot of them, they look very similar, and I think I did like one look one eye, one look the other eye, and they all were different. If you want to be nuanced, then you really kind of be like, you know, really looking. But just like from the offset, it might look like it's the same look on both eyes, but all the looks were really pretty, but they were just basic. And so that's the reason that warm is number 6. And I'm glad I wrote this stuff down because I would be like, what number am I at? What are we doing? And so damn, these are hard. The next one that popped into my head was the Glam palette. And I really love the Glam palette, my Glam Retro Glam palette. But again, we swapped out 4 shades. 4 shades from Retro Glam we put in here to get it to what you see here. And this color story, y'all, is bomb. But I had to put it that way. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only reason. But if I had to pick, I mean, yeah, and this is number 5, and I Need a Nude is number 9. Warm and Golden are already done. And so looking at those and then seeing this one, this is more my vibe because it's more smoky looks I can do with this palette. And every shade in here does show up on me very nicely. And so it's only number 5 because we had to make it this way. But I really, like, seriously love that palette. So, all right, so number 5. Number 4. All right, now it's getting really difficult. I want to say Biba, and I love Biba. And it's back to the same thing. These are 4 Lila shades. A couple of the Biba shades, they showed up on me, but not a lot. So it was like, why are you here? And they were good for buffing out other shades or, you know, buffing out lower lash line. But having the 4 Lila shades, it gives me so much more I can do with this. And so we're going to go back to it again because I had to do it this way. But I really do love Biba to the extent that I had mentioned. Excuse me, this is my second time having Biba. And ironically, I did a look with my Lila palette that has the 4 Biba shades in there that I took out of here. And I made it a point just to use the Lila shades. And the look was gorgeous. The look was gorgeous. And having put those Biba shades in there, they would be good for buffing out. Because if you remember what Lila looks like, and I didn't think to bring it because I have it where my Pro makeup kit is, and I didn't think to bring it. But if you remember Biba, it had those deeper tones to purples to maroons and things like that. And so having some of the lighter creamy matte cream to powder formula, it just gives you something extra to do with that palette if you want to switch up the looks. And so Biba, I want to say it breaks my heart, but it doesn't. But it's it is number 4 because we had to mix it. Oh shit. We're going to stick with the same. We're going to stick with the same vibe because the running theme here is this number because I had to make it this way. And so it'll be C9, which is number 3. All of this could change tomorrow. And there are 4 Retro Glam shades in here. And I liked Retro Glam, but half the shades did not look, they didn't show up well on me, on my complexion and undertone. And so we're just going to stick with that story. That's our story and we're sticking to it. This is placing where it did because I had to swap out 4 shades. Let me know if y'all think I'm cheating. As y'all know, this was a grayscale palette period, and I think I did maybe 4 or 5 looks, and it was exciting. I did those before I swapped in the colors because I wanted to see what can I do with this, and it forced me in a good way. Challenged me is probably a better word. It challenged me to come out of my comfort zone, work with different shapes, do graphic liner, and just try new things, and that's what I loved about it. But after I ran through it, I'm like, okay, what else am I going to do? And that's when I swapped out the shades. And I do love this palette. And the shades again that are from Retro Glam is this one. Wait a minute. It is these 2, this one and this one, excuse me for the glare, are from Retro Glam. And this has a green undertone to it, and so does this one. And this one here gives us another deep shade other than the black and the gray, even though 2 of them look blue on me. Well, they look blue to me in the pan, and this one. And I'm glad that we did put this because it plays off of this one, which has a pinky tone. And this brown plays off of this one. These 2 play off of each other, and this can just go next to whatever because of the formula. Excuse me for all the glares. So even next to this one, that would look nice too. Or even next to this one. And so I really do like this, but I had to put, I didn't have to, but I decided to swap out 4 of the shades to have a palette where everything showed up on me to my liking. And so this, and I love this freaking palette. When I saw it, I knew I was getting it. When I first saw it, I knew I was getting it. And so that one is Xenon, and that is number 3. So we're down to 2, y'all. We're down to 2. Neither one is coming to my mind. Like how for the other ones, like I would just, a name of a palette would just come to me. It's not doing that for these last 2. And what we have left is the Yucca palette and Circle Loco, and they are very different palettes. And it's hard because Circle Loco to me is just fun. And I like all except one look. that I've done with this palette. And it's just fun. And it does challenge me to be creative, because I don't want to do a blue monochromatic look. I don't want to do a purple monochromatic look. I don't want to do a red monochromatic look. And so I look at it and I'm thinking, what can I do different? I don't want to do an orange monochromatic look. And so it challenges me in a good way. And as I said, I've liked all the looks I've done with it except one. And this is just fun. It excites me when I'm like, oh, I get to use Circle Loco today. Very different than the Yucca palette or the Yucca palette. Completely different palettes. The Yucca palette is my vibe. That swamp water, that messy grunge. You got that pop of blue right here in this corner. And this is the Retro Glam shade. And I thought that this would go well with that shade, and it does, but it also goes with other stuff in this palette. And so neither one is coming to mind. I'm going to say if I had to choose, but we are going to choose. I don't do rankings often because it creates anxiety for me, but surprisingly, I'm not feeling anxious now. And maybe because the other stuff that's going on in the world, and this is just a distraction for me right now at this point. We're going to say Circle Loco is number 2. Because it is just fun, whereas Yucca or Yucca, this is my vibe. This is my vibe. We have that grunge, that swamp water. All right, so Circle Loco is just fun. It's just fun, period. So, wow, that was hard. So Circle Loco is number 2, which in the Yucca palette is number 1. This is all the way my vibe, 100%. 100%. I can't get smoky out of here, but you know what? I could with this shade, depending on what I do with it and where I put it, or if I laid it down and took it up into my transition shade and then put a shimmer just on my mobile lid. That would make me able to do a smoky look. I know that sentence came out backwards, so I am so excited. I had an hour and a half sleep today. And so, but this is my vibe. I have a few. Vampy, goth, a little hint of punk when I do like the yellow liner, the red liner, the bright blue liner, to spice stuff up with, and y'all know I love me a black lip. But this is number 1 because this is one of my preferred aesthetics. Circle Loco is just straight up fun. It's fun. And so we're gonna backtrack, y'all. We did it. And we're only at like 30 minutes. I'm trying to put these in order of where they are. 1, 2, 3, 4. So actually, I will say some of these did surprise me because I really love them all. Like I really do. Where are we at? Okay, this one, that one. I messed up something. Wait a minute. Trio Chrome 8. Oh, gold in a second. Okay, I messed up something, but we're just going to just do this backwards. So out of the 9 palettes that we have from Natasha Denona, not counting her quints, which we're going to do, which is going to be super easy. But so number 9 again is I Need a Nude. It is nude. Everything in here does show up on me. Something in here made me look a little ashy, and I forget which one it was, but that's beside the point. It's easy, and right now I am still really excited about it, but I feel like after I do another 3 or 4 looks, I'm going to be like, okay, now it can go in my kit. But right now I do still want to actually play with it, and I did purchase it for the kit, so it is a keeper. It is a keeper. And so that's why this is number 9, because it doesn't feed my soul other than, ooh, and I think it's just because it's still just new, seriously. The Trio Chrome Quint palette, I'm looking at this like, really, this is number 8? Because this has my vibes in it too, but I had to put it this way. If I want it smoky, I can do here. If I want grungy, you know, these shades right here. If I just want some fun, easy look, you know, do this row right here, or just mix around. There's a lot of different colors in here, which means there's a lot of different things to do. So I'm like, why is this number 8? I told y'all it'll change. If I do this next month, it'll be different, probably. And so number 7 is the Golden palette. I do love it. I swapped in 4 shades, and so that's what makes it number 7. Because as it was, I do think it may have ranked lower because all the shades did not show up on me. So I do think it would have been lower if I didn't swap some of the shades out. And so number 6 is I Need a Warm. Same thing, it's pretty, but it's just basic. I do like this one. Well, it did rank 1 step higher than Golden because this does have darker tones in it, and everything in here shows up better on me where some of the golden shades didn't, which is why I swapped out some of the colors. And so this is number 6. And number 5, my Glam Retro Glam palette, only because I had to put it this way. But looking at it, like if this was sold this way, it would rank higher because I have my smoke. I can I get grunge out of here? I can get grunge out of here because this has a green tone to it in person, even though where I'm looking, where you are, is looking blue. But I can get, not the messy grunge, but I can get some grunge out of this palette. I can get a goth look out of this palette and a smoky look out of this palette. So yeah, if it was sold this way, it would rank higher. But I had to put it this way. I didn't have to, but I wanted to, because I wanted to have an entire palette that I can be excited to use. And so this is number 5. Number 4, Biva. Only because we had to swap in these shades. And I wonder if I left it the way it was, would it still place the same? Because having a neutral palette, I have all the neutral shades I could want, you know what I mean? But I wanted more variety, and a couple of the shades didn't show up on me that well. So having these in here really adds a lot more that I can do to this palette. And so this one is number 4. So number 3 is Xenon. I love this palette. This gives me all the smoke, and it still encourages me to play with shapes and different color combinations just to see what I can do so every look doesn't look the same. And what's ironic is most of the looks I do see, even if they've done 3 looks, they all kind of look the same. And I think it's just technique. You know, you do your transition, your crease, and your lid shade. So if you put similar shades in the transition, you put similar shades in your crease, you put similar shades on your lid, then yeah, they're going to look the same. The looks are going to look the same. And so that's what challenged me, because I didn't want all of my looks to look the same, and it did encourage me, and it was exciting to just do different looks and to see what else I can do, and as I said, to experiment with shapes, experiment with graphic liner, experiment with color combinations, even though it was grayscale, but the tones do show up different. And so this is number 3. Number 2, Circle Loco, is just straight up fun. Circle Loco means crazy circus. I love this palette. And once this one dies, if there's another bundle deal, I would repurchase this a 3rd time. I love this palette. Oh my gosh. And number 1, my vibe, one of my aesthetics that I love, grunge, period, with a T. So this is number 1. Let me know what you think of my ranking for those palettes. We're going to do the quints, and this will be really easy. The quints will be really easy, but let me know what you think of my ranking for the larger palettes, for the midi and the 3 larger Natasha palettes. Let me know, are you surprised by my ranking? And let me know if you're here for the first time and you're seeing the shades I swapped out. Let me know if you like it better that way, or if you liked it better like the original way, if you can remember what they look like. So I have 4 laid out. We have Xenon, Rose, Pastel, and Xenon. Unlike the midi Xenon, in the mini Xenon, the black is actually a black and it doesn't have a blue base to it. But these are really easy. I looked at them, I'm like, this is really simple. This one is Zendo. This is grunge. This is what I see in person, these colors right here. I know right here it looks different. This is what I see in person. This is grunge. And that's one of my vibes. Number 1. Number 2 is Pastel. Yo, I was surprised because I'm like, I don't wear these tones, but the looks I did were pretty. And it's colorful and it's fun. So that's the same as like Yucca being my vibe and then Circle Loco being fun. I just now made that connection. Ain't that something? Number 3 is the mini Xenon. I do like the looks. I think I did 2 when I first got it, and then I started just picking it up when I want a black, or if I want to smoke gray, or if I just want to pop a shimmer on the lid. So this just turned into if I want you know, particular thing for a look. But this is number 3 because it does come through. If I'm like, I just want this little bit smoky, but this palette, I'm like, oh, xenon. And I'll pick this up and just use one of these two. Or if I want to buff out something, I'm like, oh, let me just do this. Or, you know what I'm saying? And so this does come in handy. So this is number 3 because even though I don't use it on its own a lot, it comes in as clutch. And the last one will be rose, because these ain't really my colors, but it was on sale, so I paid less than $25 for it, and I do like the looks that I did with it. So this is number 4, and xenon is number 3, pastel is number 2, and zendo is number 1. I'm just laughing because number 1 is my vibe. Number 1 is my vibe. Number 2 is fun. Number 2 is fun. I really did not plan that. But that's my ranking for the minis that I have. Let me know if you're surprised by those. Let me know what you think about these 4 little palettes. And I'm excited to have these because they're easy to travel with, easy to do a nice look. So that is going to be it for this video, y'all. Let me know what y'all think. Thank you for being here. If you've seen the looks that I've done with any of these, let me know what you think of those looks. And if you haven't seen any, again, I have a playlist for every palette that I've shown you. For her minis, I think I just have a Natasha Denona mini palette playlist versus her larger ones. I have a Yucca playlist, I have a Circle Local playlist, I have a Xenon playlist, I have a Glam playlist, you know what I mean? So I did that so it'll be easy for you to find if you were looking for something in particular. And I do that for most of my eyeshadow brands. I do have playlists for each one. So thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed this. If this is your first time here, welcome. And I do hope that you will subscribe and stay. Comments are always welcome. There's a membership. Click it just to see what the perks are. Clicking it doesn't make you join. Clicking it, you see the perks. And then there's another step if you want to join. So do click the link and see if the perks appeal to you. And again, let me know if you're surprised by my ranking. Let me know what you think of these palettes. Let me know if you were surprised or if you're like, yeah, I knew she was going to do that, because I didn't even know I was going to do that. But that'll be it for this video. I appreciate you being here. As always, self-acceptance and self-love. That is the Crazy Troll Nation way. Thank you, and you will see me soon.